What's up, y'all? I'm Nose for Silver, and today we're doing another silver stacking showdown. We're going to compare coins versus bars versus junk to see what might be the best for your collection and where you might be missing out, so stay tuned.
Now when the silverback's got more silver than back, you best move on.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Thank you for being here today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if this is something that you like or interested in. I'm a new channel. Every little bit can help. And comment as we go along in this video so I can get some feedback about what you think about these three items. Coins, though, we're going to define those as government minted coins of the modern era. So it's something like this: the Chinese panda, an American silver eagle, a Mexican libertad. There you go for that one, and even this one right here, a little less collected, but still highly respected, is the South African Krugerrand. So that's what coins are in our discussion today. Bars are obviously just bars of silver, not minted by any government facility, but some sort of private company that minted these. And then junk silver, that is gonna be old silver coins that contain 90% silver, and they're minted by the US government. So first, let's talk about the cost and accessibility of all of these types of silver. First is gonna be the coins. Of the bunch, they will probably be the least accessible if you're looking at your local coin shop or your local pawn shop, something like that, because shops don't usually carry a variety of, government minted coins, especially if you're looking for something outside of the USA. You can probably find an American silver eagle at any coin store, but to get a Mexican libertad, or even more rare, the South African Krugerrand, that's going to limit accessibility depending on what type of coin you want. But one of the issues, let's talk about cost, is that these coins are going to carry a premium. If spot prices say $35, you're going to be paying anywhere from a $3 to $8 premium, very likely, on these coins. So you might be getting them for as low as $38, which would be probably a steal for most of these coins, or as high as, $43, $45, $50, just depending on what coin it is. That's if spot is at $35. But they are great for beginners due to their, recognizable design, especially if you're sticking with that American silver eagle. Now let's take a look at bars. So this is a 10-ounce bar, this is a kilo bar, another 10-ounce bars, but another common size of bars is, 1 ounce. So you can definitely get it in the 1 ounce version. These are gonna have lower premiums. That's always the way it is if you're looking at a generic bar. Sometimes maybe something like this, which might be considered a vintage bar that holds a few dollars over spot price, little premium there. But that's not really what we're comparing today as far as vintage bars go. We're just looking at bars in general. You can probably buy them for $1.50 over spot. They're going to be very easy to obtain if you're on an online dealer. Your local coin shop might not have any of these, but online you have tons of options, and almost always you can find a sale on some variety of a bar, whether it be 1 ounce, 10 ounces, 5 ounces. They do 3 ounces, basically any type of bar you can want out there. Online would be your best bet, in my opinion. There's sales all the time, depending which site you're looking at and what type of bar you want. Definitely, it's the most budget-friendly of the three, and so that's another reason why it could be really good for beginners starting to stack and collect that weight. Now, junk silver is pre-1965 U.S. Coins. They're going to have 90% silver in those. So these are some examples of quarters. I got some Morgan dollars here. Sometimes people don't consider those junk, but if they're in cull condition, I do consider these junk silver. They might hold a slight premium, but you can get dimes, you can get half dollars. The Franklin half dollar is something that I have a lot of. So junk silver, though, is just that. It's pre-1965 coins minted by the USA, and they contain 90% silver. And usually they're sold at face value. So $1 of face value of coins, that might be, say that's obviously 4 quarters, that equals about 0.715 ounces of silver. And the premiums you're going to pay on spot price is usually $2 to $5 over spot per ounce. But again, if you're looking at some of these online shops, you can very often find a deal as far as junk silver goes. Morgan silver dollars might cost an extra dollar premium, but you can, count on these for holding their value. They're just so iconic and, honestly beautiful. The one thing that coins really does, other than add weight to your collection, it adds that extra level of assurance because these were minted by the government. You can't really fake the wear on these things. And, just if you feel them and hear them, you know that they're silver. And your local coin shop should have a ton of this stuff. I mean, I've gotten tons and tons of junk silver from my coin shop, and I love that they always have a variety, and it's just a pleasurable experience to go into your local coin dealer and load up on junk silver. Now let's get into something a little bit different. Let's talk about the collectability and aesthetics of these three types of coins. Modern coins from government-backed mints are definitely going to have a certain premium to them, like we talked about, and that is because people collect these coins and they're beautiful. This is a Mexican Libertad. I think it's one of the most beautiful government-minted coins there is. This is 1 ounce of 999 fine silver. And that type of stuff just draws really a large collector demand to these type of coins. For example, this is the Panda from 2025. This coin's design changes every year, making it very aesthetically pleasing and as well super collectible because no year's design is the same. And then you have the Krugerrand, which this design is always the same. And there's nothing too much special about it, but there's a nice little deer on the back or something. So there's still a collectible aspect to these because they are a foreign coin and some people really enjoy the aesthetic of those coins. So in general, government minted coins, especially the US silver dollar, but other foreign governments as well, those coins are always going to be more collectible than bars or junk silver. So there's definitely a collectability aspect in this grouping that you won't find in either of the other two. Now, bars, they're definitely popular for their sleek and minimalistic look, and some of them have unique serial numbers on them, like this one right here, stamped serial number on the bottom, just for extra verification. And these really just appeal to a stacker that wants to easily, literally stack silver on top of each other and get it for the weight of the silver, not for any aesthetic appeal. The curveball with the bars is that oftentimes a bar like this or Engelhardt or some other brands out there can carry a premium because they are, vintage and unique. But that's not the standard case, and that's really not the bars we're talking about today. We're talking about just going online to a dealer and buying bars. And that's the way you're going to have to do it, is online buying bars, because your local coin shop probably doesn't have many bars, if any. And if you want multiple bars to stack on top of each other, doing that online at a site that sells multiple styles of bars is just so easy, because they'll have bars that just stack perfectly on top of each other, and you can just build your weight that way, and they're not going to be much above spot price. Now, as far as the aesthetic and collectability of junk silver, well, there's definitely a collectible aspect to it because people have so much nostalgia towards it. This is, a silver quarter, and you can see how worn it is, but it still has that charming appeal, and at the end of the day, it's still 90% silver. So junk silver really hits it from both sides as far as being an economical choice to obtain silver weight, but also have a slight premium for the aesthetic of it. These are Morgan silver dollars. Again, some people don't consider these junk silver, but if they're in cull condition, I definitely do. But people just love the aesthetic of this, and that means the collectability of it is going to be higher. So junk silver, even though the name says junk in it, these are probably in the most demand always over any of these other types of coins because of their collectability and because of their stackability. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the resale and liquidation of each of these three types of coins or silver sources. The coins, first off, like I said, this might cost you a $5 to $8 premium over spot price. And when you go to liquidate a Mexican Libertad, if you're lucky, you'll get $1 or $2 above spot price. But usually they might just only pay you spot, which is highway robbery in my opinion. So you can sell them on eBay or some other source like that and get more of the premium back, but you're obviously got to pay some, seller fees as well. So again, this you're going to pay a premium for. When you sell it back, it might be really hard to get that premium back, even though you'll probably be able to sell it pretty easily to any local coin shop. It definitely could leave you in the red depending on the price you bought it at and the price you're selling it at, because the premium is going to be hard to recoup, especially in the short term. Liquidating bars, super easy, but you're never going to get spot price for it. You're going to get under spot for these bars. And that's just because the coin shop might resell them. And, in the case of this bar being vintage, they could put that on their display rack. But these other two bars, that's just silver. Even though this one is so beautiful, no dealer, in my opinion, is going to pay you above spot price for this 10-ounce piece of silver. It's just the way it is, however pretty or official a bar might be. This one, like you saw, that's a popular brand and it has its individual serial number on it. But a coin dealer will melt this down quicker than you can say, well, coins. So bars are great for collecting or, stacking with, and they're easy to liquidate. But don't ever expect to get spot price for these. You're probably going to get just below spot. And that brings us to junk silver, where of these three types of silver, junk silver is probably the easiest to liquidate and the easiest to obtain or retain your value for, because there is such high demand for this. If silver prices go up a little bit, you're going to be able to sell them back for more. You don't pay much of a premium for junk silver. And whenever you sell it back, you can easily get that premium back. That's just the way it works with junk silver because so many people want it and it's recognized. Obviously these Morgan silver dollars, you could sell them at your local coin shop for a few bucks over spot, maybe $1 or $2. And you could sell it online for potentially much more. The premium that you pay for junk silver is usually never a problem because in all likelihood, you can get that premium back whenever you go to resell and liquidate these. Every local coin shop is going to probably buy this stuff. Now, remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this that I'm talking about today is financial advice. Go see your local professional if you want that. But, in my experience, junk silver is the easiest to liquidate. It's the most sought after, and it's going to retain its value and hold those premiums if you decide to resell it, much more than any of these other types of silver will. So for me, if we're just looking for the winner of all these types, as much as I love modern government minted coins, and sometimes bars are fun too, junk silver is the winner because it's charming. People love the history of it. It retains its value, and the premiums you pay aren't going to be too high, and usually when you sell it back, you can get some of those premiums back. So hands down, junk silver is the winner if we're just looking at the common sense aspects of getting silver, being able to liquidate it, and maintaining value in your stack. If you're a beginner out there, it's always my opinion, and it's what I did as a beginner, was first build a junk stack pile, and that just got me into silver. That made me get some weight out of the gate. And it just gave me that silver that's probably the least risky of all to purchase. If you're a budget stacker that just wants weight, 10-ounce bars, get them for days, just above spot price. Kilo bars, again, probably even less expensive. The higher increments you go in the bar size, the lower premium you're going to pay. So a 100-ounce bar might be quite expensive, but it's going to be the lowest premium that you pay over any type of bar. So that's really the benefit if your goal is just to stack silver. And the only plus side I really see to these 1-ounce coins is that, they'll always hold their value in silver because of their purity. They will likely bring a slight premium when you go to try to sell them back. But otherwise, it's, a risk. If this 2024 Libertad ends up being a low production year, no one knows until they release the numbers, This could hold a much higher premium. And as well, if this Panda, these are always limited as well. And if people like this design more or find this year, more engaging, this might always hold a premium because of the year it was minted. So it's a risk. And this is more for silver collecting or silver coin collecting than silver stacking, but always consider it as part of an addition to your collection, especially if you just enjoy this stuff. Silver stacking doesn't have to be 100% about getting weight. So that's my coins versus bars versus junk silver showdown today. Junk silver takes the cake. I'm Nose for Silver. Thank you for getting to this point in the video. I hope you learned something. Drop a note in that comment section. Like, subscribe. Can't say how much it helps being a new channel. We'll see you tomorrow with more silver on the table. Later on.